Hey guys, what's going on? Rhett here. I have something so special for you today. I have coaching client Joe on board with us. This guy is one of a kind, and Joe, he's going to tell you all about his experience inside the coaching program, being a first-time real estate investor, being a first-time Section 8 landlord, being a first-time out-of-state investor. Joe has done it all. He's done it miraculously quickly. And I am so happy to show him off to you guys today because he is going to be such an inspiration for so many of you guys who want to get into this. Joe, thanks so much for coming on the channel.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, Joe, just give a little background on you and what made you want to get into real estate and more so Section 8 real estate.
I always had real estate kind of in the back of my mind, something I've always wanted to get into. Never really knew a good entry point. I know people that own multifamily units. Um, and they've been doing that for a while, and I came across Section 8, and it looked like a more affordable route to go, especially since it was my first time investing in real estate. So I wanted to start small. So research Section 8, realized that you could get some exposure to the industry without having to drop, $200,000-$300,000 like you would on, say, a multifamily unit. So I knew that was the way to go for me. And then, hit you up, and here we are.
So, Joe, your experience happened extremely fast, and you were able to get into a unit. The unit that you purchased used financing, right?
Yeah.
And we didn't even have time to put that unit on the rental market before we got a tenant for it. So
Yeah.
it happened so unbelievably quick for you. Just kind of walk us through what you bought the unit for, what kind of rehab it needed. Just kind of give everybody an overview of your investment and what it looked like.
Yeah. So I bought a 3-bedroom house in Birmingham. We had it under contract for $90,000. So with a 20% down payment, you had that, and then I needed about 15 in work. So that included the roof, which was about 90%, 95% of the work the house needed. And then just some small interior stuff that we knocked out. So the property cost was 90. It was about 15 for rehab. So including down payment, closing costs, and then the rehab.
Right. And Joe, so you have had no experience with Section 8, correct?
No experience with real estate in general.
So no experience with real estate in general. And
Yeah.
how many times have you been to Birmingham to check in on your property, see how it's going, be there for the rehab? I'm assuming you went there a lot to look at the property, to check it out, to make sure that it was the right property for you, right? You did all that stuff?
Nope. Haven't been to Birmingham to check out my property once. Trusted my team. They were awesome. I wanted to go, but everything happened so fast, and we got a tenant in so fast that it was just like, didn't have time to even go down there and check it out, even if I wanted to.
And Joe, for you, this process happened so fast. And what I mean by that is you found a property that you loved. We put an offer in. I think your offer was accepted that same day, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
We closed on it about 30 days later. And then as soon as we closed on it, I think we had a tenant within maybe 12 hours.
Yeah. So the day I closed on the property, next day we signed with property.
We lost you, Joe. Joe, you there?
So it was about 2 days after we closed on the property was we had a tenant lined up to live in it already. Not even the house on the market. We didn't need to go in and take photos of the house. So it was pretty crazy.
So Joe, you cut out a little bit there from the internet. So just go over that one more time. So sorry,
No, you're good.
everything happened so fast. We bought the unit for you. You bought the unit. You found it. You bought the unit. The tenant got in there so quick, and then the rehab took place. How long did the rehab take?
Rehab took a day, 1 day.
What do you mean? I thought they put a new roof on it.
No, we had about 15 or 20 guys at the house, and they knocked that roof out in a day.
Unbelievable. And
Yeah.
then the next day, Joe, didn't that tenant move in?
Yep.
So it passed the Section 8 inspection, no problem.
Yep. Past Section 8 inspection. We had the tenant lined up before rehab had even started. So we had to expedite the entire rehab process and get the team in there to make sure everything was good for the inspection. But
So,
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, no, so that took a day. Rehab took a day. I think maybe a day or two after that, we had the inspection, passed the inspection, and then property management gave me a move-in date for the tenant. So
Unbelievable.
yeah.
So Joe, I really wanted to bring you on the channel for a couple reasons, but I think that so many people watching this right now are going to be inspired by your story. And there are so many people out there that are wanting to get into real estate investing, but they see so many obstacles. Now, you don't live in Birmingham where you invested. You have no history in real estate. You've never seen this property. Talk a little bit about what gave you the confidence to do this, because you're a young guy. You want to set yourself up for the future. And you just dove into this. You took that leap of faith, and look at you now. I mean, you're already cash flowing.
Yeah.
So just talk a little bit about what this has been like and what's been kind of that driving force.
That's one of the hardest parts was taking that leap of faith and deciding to do it. It's one of those monumental life decisions that you have to make, investing in real estate. And it's intimidating. There's a lot of steps that go into it, but, you have an awesome team. We have an awesome team behind us. I have the help from you. You have all the experience, the knowledge. You make it exciting. And I'm glad I took the leap of faith. I haven't looked back since. And it's pretty crazy to think 2 months ago, I was sitting here thinking about, if this was the right choice for me, if this was what I wanted to do. And then here I am now, and I can't wait to buy my next property, 2, 3, 4 properties later. So it's pretty wild.
It is. It's inspirational, Joe. It really is. And to think about you a couple months ago to you now, this first property, and I talk a lot about this, but the first property is the most important because, and you just said it yourself, it was such a home run for you that you're already thinking about property number 2, property number 3, property number 4. If you didn't have that experience on the first one, you'd probably never buy another investment property.
Yeah, you're right. First property is the most important. It lays the foundation down for what your success is going to look like in the future. You know what I mean? So you want to make sure that everything is set, everything is done correctly with the first property, and then from there you just move all those things to the next property and the next property after that. So I think the next, the whole process for this, is incredibly easy. So I think for the next, 2, 3, 4, or 5 properties, it's just going to get easier. You know what I mean?
Right. And there were a lot of firsts for you.
Yeah.
So everything's a first. We did your first rehab. just like you said, it was painless. I mean, one day we had 17 people at that house knocking that rehab out, which is kind of what we'll do. So we get that done. The tenant moves in so fast. You pass the Section 8 inspection immediately. You have a tenant in there right away paying rent, right?
Yeah.
You've already been paid. You've already made income on that.
Yep.
It happened so fast. What was the hardest part of this whole process for you?
Oh, so to reflect off what I was saying before, hardest part by far was that leap of faith and getting into it. You know what I mean? Once I started, everything kind of fell into place by itself. You know, you have the team of lenders, you have the property management team, you have the insurance team, and everyone works together perfectly to make sure that everything's running smoothly. So, you know, really, honestly, the hardest part is taking that leap of faith and just kind of, you know, trusting yourself and getting work done.
Right, right. And Joe, so what does your tenant pay every month? What kind of rent are you bringing in every month?
Yeah, they have a voucher for 1,075 every month.
Okay, and
And
that's
that covers 100% of the rent. Yep.
right. Okay, and that covers the rent, that covers all the utilities,
Yep.
that covers absolutely everything.
Yep.
So you have a management company that's lined up, right?
Yeah.
And they just send you money on the first or second of every month.
Yes. Yep.
So
It's
what do
pretty
you
crazy.
what do you have to do? Tell me what your day-to-day operations look like being an out-of-state Section 8 investor in this program. What's your job?
You know, it's just to make sure you're answering the phone and sending out text messages. And, you know, if you have questions, ask them, you know what I mean? Make sure stuff's done right. And you know, that's pretty much it. I don't think I left my couch throughout this entire process, which is crazy, you know.
Right. And so many people, Joe, they think that it's not realistic. They think that number one, I hear this all the time, it's too good to be true.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The guaranteed income, the fact that you have the teams in place, the fact you don't ever have to go to this property, it just sounds too good to be true. But you're living proof that you can do this. And like you said, and of course, you weren't sitting on your couch the whole time.
Right,
You're
right.
active, right? Making sure, you know, what's going on, where are we at, talking to the
Yep.
management company, talking to your real estate agent, speaking with contractors, doing everything you need to do, talking to your insurance team to make sure everything's lined up. And it's such a good job. And basically what you've done, Joe, is you've learned how to quarterback this thing from start to finish. What do you think some of the biggest takeaways you've had are from quarterbacking the onboarding of a property from another state? Because you're well over 1,000 miles away.
Yeah.
So what has that been like? What have you learned? Talk a little bit about that.
So you know, you're nothing without the team that you have, you know, so it's all about trusting the team. You know, you have, like I said, lenders, property management, insurance, all these people specialize in Section 8. So it's really about putting your trust in them and making sure you're staying on top of things and making sure, you know, stuff's done right, stuff's done on time. You know, at the end of the day, it's your property, you know, it's your money, your investment. So you want to stay on top of stuff, make sure stuff's done correctly. So that's been about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And Joe, so what's the time frame do you think for you buying your next property?
I'm hoping to have my next, it's December now, just became December. So I'm hoping to have my next property by summer of next year. So
Okay. So
5 months.
about 6 months. And then what's your end goal for this portfolio? How many properties do you want to add over the next 5, 10, 15 years? What's your end goal for this portfolio and why?
Yeah, I don't know if I have an end goal. You know, I just want to take it step by step, you know, property by property, build my portfolio. You know, I don't have an end number in mind. I feel like I'll know that number when I get there, but for now, I just want to learn as much as I can, take it step by step and keep growing.
Yeah. And Joe, have people asked you about this? Have they said, "Hey, what's going on with that property?" Have you told people about what you've done, and are people surprised that you've been able to be so successful in such a short amount of time?
Yeah, for sure. I remember telling my friends, at work and at home, that I'm getting into Section 8 real estate. And they were kind of like, okay, they didn't think I was going to do it, but got it done. And everything happened so quickly. It felt like right after I told them I was getting into real estate, a couple months later, I'm like, yeah, I already got someone in my house. And they're like, no way. So it's been crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Joe, you really are such an inspiration. And guys, everybody watching this, when Joe and I talked about him potentially coming on the channel and doing this video, I wanted him to come on so bad because there are so many people out there who were in Joe's shoes, who wanted to get into real estate, but just didn't know where to start, didn't have the team to do it, didn't have the people, right? Joe, how long have you wanted to get into real estate, but just haven't been able to take that first step?
It's always been in the back of my mind. I'd always had real estate on my radar. Like I said, I didn't know where to start. There's different avenues of real estate you could go down, Section 8 being one of them. And I didn't know much about Section 8, up until, the month I called you, the month we first talked on the phone. And everything just made so much sense, from an investment standpoint for where I currently am financially and how I'm able to grow. Um, so, that's really been it.
Yeah, yeah, and it really is, guys. Joe is a special investor because he is the kind of guy who says, "You know what, I'm going to do this," and does it and gets rewarded for that. Because that's exactly what happened, Joe. You took the leap of faith, you got rewarded. It happened extremely quick. You joined the program in October,
Yeah.
right? You had a property under contract in October.
Yeah. I think maybe a week or two after, I had just joined the program is when we had our first property under contract.
We closed on it end of October, beginning of November.
Yeah, it was out of October. The tenants moved in on the 26th of October.
Okay.
So we had to have closed mid-October.
Okay. So we closed mid-October. We got the tenants in there
Yep.
ASAP, passed the inspection, did the rehab, did it all quick, got them in there, and then you got paid November 1st.
Yeah.
I mean, what else can you ask for?
It's ridiculous.
On the 26th, you get a full month's rent. You get a full month, you get a prorated amount for those 4 days, 5 days October, and then you get that first month's rent for all of November. It really does sound too good to be true. But if I hadn't been there with you, seeing it all, I would think that you're making it all up.
Yeah, right.
But guys, please, I've taken too much of Joe's time already. Leave your questions and comments below. Any question you have for Joe, I'll answer them as best I can. Maybe Joe can get in the comment section as well and answer some questions about this process for him and the success that he's been able to have. Joe, any last words you have for people who might be in the shoes you were in a couple of weeks ago? What do you tell those people who are kind of on the fence or not quite sure, who want to make a change in their life, but just don't know where to start?
Yeah, I was there, and like I said, this is one of those life decisions that are monumental. You know what I mean? And it's just about taking the leap of faith and trusting your team, trusting that you can do it. You know what I mean? Um, and then everything will just fall into place from there. And I haven't looked back. Best decision I've made by far. You know.
And I'm so proud of you, brother. And this is the beginning of such a long, successful investment future for you. The first one was a home run, and we're just going to piggyback off this success as we usually do. keep adding them. And eventually, this is going to replace your income. So you can just sail into the sunset, do what you want to do, live the life you want to live, and not have to worry about where your money's coming from, because you've done all the hard work, you've done all the legwork, you've done everything that you've had to do to secure this and to lock this in. So Joe, thank you so much for coming on the channel. Guys, please leave questions and comments. I'll get to them. Joe will get to them if he has time. And again, guys, thanks for watching, and thank you, Joe.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Guys, we'll see you next time.